everyone. I'm Adam Sansick. It's very nice to have everyone here. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. Appreciate your time and effort making the meeting today. Want to thank Commander Prouty as well as Chief Kilcullen for the opportunity to support this work. Very excited. A lot of the faces that I see in this room, I do day-to-day work with. I see the impact of not only vision, but the collaboration and the communication and the support that we offer each other. So happy to be a part of that. I was hoping to start off with introductions of new attendees. If you could please stand up and introduce yourself and your organization. If you could raise your hand, we can get a mic your way as well so that they can hear it on PEG TV. Any new attendees? Right up here in the, let's start in the back.
Hi, I'm Nicole Rice, and I'm here with the Boys and Girls Club.
Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, I'm Hillary Wolf. I'm here with Weber and Higher Ability.
Welcome, Hillary.
Hi, I'm Eric Pulver. I'm with Department of Health and Emergency Preparedness.
Thanks, Eric. Up front or side?
Hi, I'm Sherry Owens, and I'm here with Community Health.
Welcome, Sherry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Jakubowski. I'm a public health nurse with the Department of Health.
Hi, I'm Mike Keiss, and I'm a Castleton University nursing student.
Hi, I'm Morgan Busby, and I'm a Castleton University nursing student.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I'm also a Castleton nursing student.
My name is Mariah Crossman, and I'm also a Castleton University nursing student.
Hi, I'm Agatha Minconi. I'm also a Castleton nursing student.
Hi, I'm Aubriana. I'm also a Castleton student.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Moy. I'm also a CU nursing student, and I'm here with my professor.
Hi, everyone. This is Minuma. I'm also the nursing student.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Shaw. I am here with Community Care Network, Rutland Mental Health Services, specifically developmental services.
Hi, I'm Kyle Prouty. I'm here with the Vermont Army National Guard.
I'm Elizabeth Norton. I'm also with the Vermont National Guard.
Hello, I'm Doug. I'm from the Dodge House.
Hi, I'm Connor Simon. I'm from the Dodge House.
I'm Mike, U.S. Navy veteran, resident with the Dodge House.
Anybody else? Great. Well, thank you all. We appreciate your time and effort today. I do want to get things started with remarks from Mayor Mike Tunges. Mike?
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'll keep it short today. First off, just because Ian's here, I just want to give Ian a round of applause. His team has been dealing with a massive caseload for a long time. I'm sure you love the embarrassment, but no, but a massive caseload for a long time, and they've been really crushing through it. So I just want to, thank him for all his hard work, for him and his team. That's a big deal. So thanks for doing that. So a couple things going on in the city that I think are pertinent to this meeting. We've been doing this ad hoc housing committee, and what we're looking to do is find new ways to develop housing in Rutland, right? That's a challenge for everybody. It really affects what we're doing here. We need all types of housing in Rutland, so everything from transitional all the way up to high end. The committee has started finding some really interesting funding sources. This week, Mike Pichek, the treasurer for the state, came down and he talked about 10% for Vermont, which is a program where we can take the cash balance on hand and use a portion of that for loans to communities to work towards initiatives. Those initiatives are housing and taking our existing buildings and making them, or communities and making them green. So those two initiatives actually kind of can go hand in hand when we think about how to move forward on that, but that's something that's really moving forward very quickly. They're going to take applications till June, and then they're going to start releasing money hopefully this fall, which means we could be building pretty quick if we can leverage those funds. So there's some real opportunities in the housing space, and just stay tuned for that over the next few weeks. Something else I want to mention, I've talked to Adam, and I've talked to Chief, and I just talked to Commander Prouty about this. With the hotels program ending soon, we need to have, and I've been talking about it for a while, an approach to how we communicate with the people that will be leaving, transitioning out. I want to do, and field day may be too jovial of a word, but a 2-day, presence. Probably, we have to find a location, so either the fairgrounds or maybe at a field somewhere where we can have tents set up, and all of you and your organizations, as well as a couple others, can be there to show what resources are available, talk to people who are transitioning out. I know that they can communicate with you today, but this is a very tactical approach to making sure that we're there, they're present, and they can come on site and learn what those resources are and are not, and what limitations we have. So again, stay tuned for that as well. We have to figure out a date, a time, and a location for all of it, but we're just starting to put the pieces together right now. And that's about it for today. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor. Chief Kilcullen.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for your willingness to really lead this organization. It's as you said, you're so involved with pretty much everyone in this room on a professional level. So I think it was a great choice, and we're glad you could get the permission, necessary permission from the powers that be. So thanks. I'm Brian Kilcullen, not a Castleton nursing student, and not from the Dodge House, but came up here today and I saw the cars. I go, wow, did someone decide to provide food? But it's kind of standing room only, so it's nice to see the numbers here. But just want to go through and kind of fill you in where we're at in the department in terms of our staffing and some of the other things we're doing. But one, I think, announcement that directly relates to why we're here today with Project Vision. As you know, for the last 15 months or so, we've been short a commander. So when Commander Dave LaChance retired, Commander Sheldon started to run both Project Vision and patrol. And we had made some adjustments internally to transition back to 3 commanders within the department, and some other things happened. So again, it's been 15 months now, but I want to announce today that we did promote someone today. That's Chuck Whitehead. So you may remember Chuck. He was a sergeant with the community response team. And so we announced that today. He'll be a commander with us. He'll be running the patrol division. Effective date probably a couple weeks down the road, but Commander Prouty will be full-time then running the community response team and Project Vision. So we want to get back. COVID really set us back. The fact that we didn't have a commander running, a dedicated commander to run both patrol and a dedicated commander to run our community response team, it allowed us. It didn't allow us to do a lot of things we wanted to do. So we're fortunate, we're lucky, and we're pleased to be back to where we were in terms of staffing those key positions. And so, as I said, going forward, it really frees up Commander Prouty to focus on the reason why we're here today. So looking forward to that. We continue to recruit, and the reason we're able to do this now, we've had some success with our recruitment efforts. Still not where we want to be, but we've been able to attract some individuals through a number of things we've been doing with the approval and support of the board and the mayor. You may remember I mentioned a while ago, back in January, the board had approved some sign-on bonuses and retention bonuses, some referral bonuses, and we just recently attracted an individual from Kelsey Parker, a new officer, a level 3 certified officer from Winooski, and started with us a week ago Friday. So we're glad to have her. Some of the other things we're doing for recruitment. So I mentioned our recruitment team before. We really formalized our recruitment efforts with our team, and they had attended some training a number of months back. It was virtual training. There were agencies from across the country, and one of the exercises they had done was to have everyone in this virtual training to list the benefits offered by their agency. And everyone, after they did that, went around the room or around the screen, I guess, everyone sort of listed a competitive salary, pensions, health care, all the same things. And the point of the exercise was that you've got to stick out. You've got to offer something that really makes your agency pop. So you've got to so the way to do that was to identify sort of assets in the community and partner with those assets to offer the benefits that they provide. So one of the ideas was to gym memberships. Who's the sort of the premier health facility in your community? Offer memberships. So that serves a couple of purposes. We have a PT standard. We don't have, although we have a gym at the department, we don't maintain it like a professional facility. And so with approval of the board and the mayor, last Monday had gotten approval to offer memberships to a local facility. And the other thing we've been able to do with the support of the mayor and the board is to offer annual ski passes to Killington. And there's probably no one else in the state that offers to Killington specifically, but no one really even offers passes to mountains in their backyard. On an informal basis, I think some of the mountains allow their officers to come to the mountain and ski, but no one can use that as a recruitment tool. And so going forward, we're able to do that. And I got to tell you, I think it really works. You know, going in 1999, I was looking at a national public police publication, and there was a job in Vail, Colorado. I was a police sergeant at the time, and Vail, Colorado, right, offers ski benefits. I applied. I was one of 80 applicants. It was one of 2 finalists. Went out to Vail for 4 days and did a 4-day sort of a ride-along interview. I didn't get the job, but it was a good experience. But that's what attracted me. The fact that, you know, you had a mountain like that in their backyard, and they were offering passes to that mountain. And we're looking to do the same thing here, and I think it'll work. So excited about that, and we'll start advertising that going forward. And again, you know, I think we're getting a lot of interest. I mentioned a while ago that we're on the police app, which is a service that anyone across the country can access looking for police jobs. We're getting a lot of interest from states like Connecticut, New Jersey, and so a combination with offering the ski passes and something like police app, we're hoping to attract people to Rutland. Killington itself, I don't know if they still do it, but years ago used to host different events for law enforcement specifically. They had a broomball tournament they'd host every year. They also hosted a ski race, which attracted many New England states hosted something similar, but it was hosted at Killington. So again, always been law enforcement friendly, and so we're looking to attract some individuals. So stay tuned on that. So when I went to the board last Monday, one of the questions I was asked was about our community resource specialist jobs and how many positions can we support. So in the current, the budget that was just passed in March, the board had approved a second position. So Kyle, as you know, is our community resource specialist now, and the board the budget passed last October. A second position was supported, and again, I was asked the question last year: how many positions can we support? And my answer was 3, maybe 4. We can't. It's not a position we can support, say, 24 hours a day. Typically after 10 o'clock, many of the calls that we respond to require a sworn police presence. But I think we can support these positions about 14 hours a day, maybe 7 days a week. So we're looking to expand that program. And so it's good. It was great to hear the board ask me those questions instead of me asking them for another position right now. I think not only does this board sort of get it, but or understand it and support it, but they get it. And so that's what we're looking to expand that program. Going back to the board on Monday, asking for some permission to expand that sooner rather than later. And so the hope is after Monday, we'll have 2.5 in the short term, 2.5 community resource specialists, and 3 by the end of this calendar year. So, and again, it's been easier for us to hire our non-sworn positions. They're up and running a lot quicker than our sworn positions, and there's interest, and we're getting interest. So, we've been fortunate in our ability to fill the non-sworn positions. When Kyle vacated the dispatch position, we were able to we had gotten a number of applications to fill that. We interviewed last week, we've got someone in background for that right now, the Kyle's replacement in dispatch. So, as I said, we've been fortunate that we've been able to fill our non-sworn positions more easily than we can our sworn positions. So for that reason, we're trying to civilianize every job we can, and when we don't require police response, we're providing a response, but not necessarily a sworn officer that's responding. I think I mentioned at the board meeting not long ago too, you look around the country, I found an article from Los Angeles. They're looking to do the exact same thing, and they listed all the types of calls that the non-sworn employees will be responding to, and it's pretty much our job description that we've got for our community resource specialists. Louisville, Kentucky recently, very similar type thing. So you're really seeing this expand across the country for the same reasons, right? The difficulty that we're having in hiring our sworn officers, and it's an appropriate response. We don't need a police response to respond to 25% of the calls that come in are not criminal in nature. And even beyond that, we might, again, so it's at least 25% that we don't need to send a police officer to. I think, as I said, I think it's important to have a response, but not a police response. So, so those are some of the things happening. As I said, the upside with a commander in patrol now, we've got Matt dedicated full-time to running our community response team. And so we'll look for good things coming forward with that. So with that, hey, whoever asked for the weather, thank you. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. So I will just add that I've been in touch with Kyle, and we're looking to get him engaged with the community care team, just so folks have a better understanding of kind of what that work looks like and like how we can collaborate. I think a lot of, especially around outreach into the hotels and safety concerns and those are things that we'll be able to, I think, to support in a way that we haven't been with some effective teaming. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that for the community at large and for social services. So thank you. All right, folks. So this is the time that we have for announcements. They can be announcements specific to your agency or otherwise. I see Jamie.
Thank you. A subcommittee of the Health Committee is planning an event for next week on Wednesday. We have invited and are having Maureen Kavanaugh come to speak next Wednesday at the Rutland Intermediate School. Right before she speaks, from 5:30 to 6:30, there will be a resource fair where there will be local agencies and resources for families who might have someone who is struggling with substance use disorder. The group that I work with through Project Vision really focuses specifically on how to educate and help our community around substance use disorder. Originally, its intent was to focus on non-opiates. Sorry, I always get that word wrong. But we really felt, and the members of that group were seeing a lot of families who were coming to them looking for resources, who are really struggling with how do we help our loved ones who are suffering with substance use disorder. And so Tracy Hawk at Turning Point said, I know this woman, she's written a book, she has lived experience, she has a daughter who is currently in recovery, and she took her teaching background and career and created her own curriculum for family members as a way to help support families. So she's a dynamic presenter. She's really amazing. She's going to be here in Rutland next Wednesday, so please let folks know. I know it's gone out on the Project Vision listserv, but we are hoping to have a lot of folks come and join us. And the other piece I just wanted to share with folks that our group is currently talking a lot about is the new drug xylazine that seems to be cropping up in a lot of the drugs that folks are taking in our area and the wound care that comes with that drug. So if anybody has questions or thoughts or want to know more about that, please reach out. We have some resources that people can tap into. So thank you.
Quiet crowd. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So I do want to follow up. We actually have a couple presenters today. We've got Amy Mott from Rutland Probation and Parole, Lucinda Ekroat from Department of Corrections, as well as Bianca Zanella from News Story. They're going to be doing a presentation around domestic sexual violence in the task force that they have. So welcome them up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Amy Mott, and I am a Community Corrections Program Supervisor at Rutland Probation and Parole. I've been with the Department of Corrections for about 17 years, and I've always worked with domestic violence and sexual violence offenders. And you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Lucinda Eckrow. I work for the Victim Services Unit for the Vermont Department of Corrections. I cover Rutland as well as Bennington and Addison County. For victim services, primarily I serve victims of domestic and sexual violence. And I'll just say a little bit about the task force really quick in this presentation. It's just kind of an introduction of who we are and why we are. There was a task force long before my time that Amy spearheaded, revitalizing for the community because of the prevalence of domestic and sexual violence. Right now we're really strong, not as strong as Project Vision. I wasn't expecting such a big crowd, but I'm so happy about it. But we have a lot of community partners that we're going to talk about, and we also welcome new membership. This is our logo, which was designed by Castleton University. But we're just kind of coming together, and we're still in the beginning of what we've set out to do, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the next couple slides. But yeah, I'm just going to pass it over to Bianca.
Hi everyone, I am Bianca Zanella, and I'm a member of the task force as well as an advocate with News Story Center. And so we support sexual assault victims as well as victim survivors of domestic violence, human trafficking, and stalking as well. News Story Center is the first responder though at a SANE, which is a sexual assault nurse examination at the hospital. So all the nursing students in the room, I don't know if many of y'all will down the road become a SANE, but it is such a needed position, unfortunately. We know I'll just give a quick middle of the presentation. We know in Vermont, the last stats that I saw was 2021 when it was pulled together, that in Vermont there were 20,781 adult victims of sexual assault and 412 children who were victims of sexual assault. So it's really prevalent in Vermont. It doesn't escape anyone. Men, women, and transgender folks are all victim survivors of this. So part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is April, is around drawing attention to this to end sexual violence. I have a couple of little magnets if anyone wants one at the end.
Is it not going?
It's not working. I also have my business cards if anyone needs support. We also offer a support group every week for victims of sexual assault Thursday morning. That's it. And who else do we have, Lucinda, as part of our task force?
Well, we have Rutland Probation and Parole, who is Amy. I'm not even on the list. I am Department of Corrections Victim Services Unit. Rutland DCF, Rutland County State's Attorney's Office, Rutland City Police, Vermont State Police, Castleton University, Child First Advocacy Center, Turning Point, Rutland Mental Health, and several other organizations. And again, we hope that this will be an opportunity to welcome new members to the task force.
So what is a task force exactly? Most communities and most counties in Vermont, I should say, have task force. Our definition for our purposes is a small community of individuals with a vested interest in addressing challenges faced on a systemic level, training needs and opportunities, systemic, core, or legal obstacles. For example, we recently, one of our meetings centered around RFAs not being granted by specific courts in the area. So that was something that we focused on and followed up on, and we're able to make some progress in that area through collaboration with our other agencies and resources, and visibility for the issues that we're currently seeing in the work that we do and the people that we serve in the community.
And who knows what an RFA is in the room? Because I don't want to speak into accident. Okay, so there are some folks. So relief from abuse. So it's an order from the court that you can ask for protection around, whether you're a victim of sexual or domestic assault.
And just speaking of visibility of the issues, one of the things that the task force has done for Sexual Assault Awareness Month that we also did for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, aside from getting out in the community and doing events and trainings, we also create a poster for each campaign. This month's poster was Prevention Demands Equity. It's piggybacking off of the national campaign demanding racial justice. So if you don't already have a poster for your organization, please see me about taking one. Or if you have an idea for where you'd like to take a poster, you can also take a poster and put it somewhere.
Sure. So our mission statement really is to broaden awareness around sexual and domestic violence and to end that systemic barriers. So to eliminate domestic and sexual violence really requires social changes that make violent behavior an unacceptable part of any relationship. And social change is really the process, right, of changing the attitudes and beliefs of this culture and society that's leading to these behaviors. So hopefully through our community and collaboration, every survivor can really find the support that they need, right? Because we're all individual coworkers, friends. Literally everyone in this room knows someone impacted and affected by sexual violence and domestic violence. And so we really hope to make this place in our community violence-free. And so we want to serve as a catalyst, developer, coordinator, and evaluator of resources to educate and protect survivors.
So these are some of the events that we did in, what month was this? October?
October,
Yes.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes, and we did national night or community event. It was the trick or treat trail at the George Eddy Park. These are some of the photos. We had Castleton University students who came and helped us with that. And our campaign was relationships should be sweet, never sour. And we gave out candy to all the trick-or-treaters, and we had a great time. And we also, one of our task force members organized a 5K run for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we participated in that. So those are just some of the photos that we have from a few of the events. We also did a poster campaign for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Am I forgetting anything else?
We started a project creating resource books for the Rutland area that are specifically for domestic and sexual violence survivors. Again, this is to get the word out and the visibility of our task force and also the issues. But again, the idea is that this task force will become stronger the more people who join and contribute to it. So it's the campaigns are both for Domestic or Sexual Violence Awareness Month, but also the task force itself.
And we are doing a lot more this month as well. So in collaboration with our partners, the task force is holding some events for education and prevention. You might have seen this go out yesterday, I think, at the Project Vision listserv around Castleton University's art installation and panel discussion, which will be April 20th. At 12:15 at their campus, they'll have a panel discussion in response to this art installation. And then also another exhibit, the Clothesline Project, which is like a visual survivor speak out experience. And all throughout April, except we haven't gotten them yet. So at News Story Center's office on 92 Grove, hopefully, they're not there yet today. Hopefully we'll get them soon. We're going to be putting up a silent witness campaign, so on our campus you'll see that. And we hosted a really wonderful coffee and conversation. Thank you, Ian, and we had a Sane, and we had Amber Hool, and also Jess was on the panel for a coffee and conversation. And so that's available, I think, online maybe after it was shown on PEG TV, so you can see that. And then on April 20th, we're also going to be hosting a vigil for survivors at 5:30 at News Story Center. And if you're going to jump from Castleton over back to Rutland, you can go to the panel in art in the afternoon, come to our vigil, and then pop back to Castleton for their Take Back the Night march in the evening as well. So that's what we've got going on April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but we're always looking for collaborators, again, because we are all in this together and we cannot end violence without each and every one of you.
So we're also this month thankful to Castleton University again for providing us with a training opportunity for dismantling rape culture. And this will be facilitated by Linda Olson via Teams. April 27th, 9 to 10:30 a.m. So we will very soon in the next couple days hopefully send out an invite, and I'll ask Commander Prouty to send that out through Vision as well if anyone's interested in attending.
I can take this one. So how can you help? You can attend a task force meeting because, again, we need all eyes on what we're all seeing across the board in our work with survivors of domestic and sexual violence and what the obstacles are and what we can all contribute to meaningful change. You can volunteer for an event. The task force does several events, which we just discussed for this campaign. But we plan on, maintaining a presence in the Rutland area. Educate yourself, attend one of the trainings that we are offering, donate to a project. And that doesn't just mean monetary, although, we do need funds for the various projects that we're working on. Castleton, for example, lets us use their color printing for our posters. Involve your organization. So if you're here and you know that your organization isn't involved with the task force, let them know about us and let us know about them. And we welcome everyone at this point. And network. Get the word out about the task force and our work.
Our task force meetings, monthly meetings, are typically the last Tuesday of every month and at 10 a.m. We don't hold them in the same place every month. It's a shared task force. It's not facilitated by probation and parole or news stories specifically. It's shared. So each month we try to have someone else host. So if you're interested in attending a meeting, if you just reach out to one of the three of us, we can make sure we get your name added to the list and you'll get a meeting invite.
And the idea of having a shared ownership model is to keep a rounded perspective of the task force. So it's not coming specifically from, what the DOC is seeing or what News Story is seeing. It's, again, a community-owned project.
And I'll just say, for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, right, the biggest thing that we can walk away and actually do, right, all of these are amazing, but the biggest thing is really just to believe survivors, right? So when someone comes to share their experience, to hear them listen and to believe that that experience is valid because it is. And that will be the first baby step that we can take all collectively to ending violence. And then we have time for some questions or comments. Yes. So again, I have my cards up here if anyone wants them, as well as the posters for the poster campaigns. But we run our 24/7 crisis hotline, so if you are experiencing either sexual violence or domestic violence, that's always available, which is 802-775-3232. And if you need a card, no shame, grab one. If you want to have that just on hand to partner and collaborate, that is wonderful as well. Joan.
So, I appreciate the advice of listen and believe. So, if you've done that with someone, what else can you do beyond listen and believe? In the past, I have known women who have gone through it, and at the time, they were in denial, and it was a very difficult conversation, and I felt kind of helpless, like, what can I do? And so, what could I do if that situation comes up again?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So asking around, that feeling of helplessness, right? I think a lot of the time we want to feel helpful, right? And sometimes what you're already doing, right, the listening and the believing is enough, and that is helpful for the individual. For the individual, it's up to them to really choose the path forward, and maybe that conversation is all that they needed. Maybe if they're asking for other resources, right, to be able to provide and to give them a little bit of direction. News Story Center hosts our weekly support group for survivors, where we all find strength in the similarities of that struggle and of the healing process. Encouraging someone to seek counseling or a therapist is always really wonderful. And then also just to understand the options, right? We're never telling anyone what to do. That's not going to be helpful. So to understand the options, Ian can speak to it a lot more, but the reporting options are there, and we can help someone understand their rights as a victim moving forward, and potentially having the criminal justice system support them. And also, that's not an option for everyone, because that can be healing in a way, and also can not be healing in a way, depending on the person. But really just being that open, understanding, compassionate person that you are, and then directing to resources if they're asking for resources. Sometimes silence is also really wonderful, going on a walk with someone and just being physically present, respecting their boundaries, all of those things. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Adam.
So, Bianca, when you say, because I think about advocacy and I think about that level of intention, is there any training around something like that? I know informally we can have those one-on-one conversations with each other to understand that it's something they have to be ready. They have to be in a place where they're ready to accept supports. Is there like resources around that to kind of better understand that approach, or do you think it's, I know it's like a gray area, but I'm just kind of curious as to how you...
Yeah, speaking from like the family and kind of friend dynamic, maybe that's something, I'm looking at Jess Ellis, who is our program director. Maybe that's something we can offer as well as with the task force, a training for community members to really offer that intentionality of the support. Because yes, we've done the advocacy training, but there are some nuances and some levels to the understanding. I think the biggest thing that I hear from family members or support systems from victim survivors that I work with is that they don't want to be pushed. They don't want to be told what to do, right? They would rather have someone be open and understanding, not ask too many questions, right? Because the more questions that we ask of a survivor's experience, they're telling their story over and over again. They are feeling more and more like it's their fault, right? We replay that experience over and over again, trying to understand why it's happened, all of these things. And so just being more of a blank canvas is the quick answer. But perhaps we can offer that as part of the task force with News Story Center's support for the community. Thank you.
For now, I just offer that my perspective is that us who work in advocacy are like resource navigators. So familiarize yourself with the resources, let the survivor come to you, and if they say, I want to leave, or I don't know if I want to leave, know what the resources are to offer to them and help guide them through the processes, but ultimately the decision is theirs, and you're just kind of a giant ear otherwise.
And you can reach the hotline for News Story as a support person. You get that feedback because every situation is individual to the victim survivor. And it can be incredibly frustrating because you can hear from them that kind of support someone when they have no idea what to do, where to go, or how to feel. So don't hesitate to reach out either with the person anonymously and say, if someone said this to you, what would you say? Or to put them in touch with us, or get in touch with us yourself. Something that we say a lot is this is a marathon, not a sprint. Everybody wishes that they could get through quickly and get behind them where it never happens. That is not the way that it works for anyone that I've worked with in almost 7 years. So please, please don't hesitate to reach out, and if you'd like to set something up for your organization or group of people regarding the training, please, we can certainly help you set that up.
Thank you, Jessica. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So flyers up in the front for folks. The meeting's done. Also kind enough to share the slides as well. So there's a link that Matt sent out, I believe, at the beginning, just prior to the meeting. So you can reference the slides as well. I think you need to get permissions for them. Thank you so much for your work in that. Greatly appreciated. All right. Next up, folks, we have subcommittee report outs. Do we have subcommittee representatives to report out this afternoon? Surprise, surprise, Jamie again.
Hello again, everyone. Co-chair of the Project Vision Health Committee. I should go up front. Make everybody crane their neck. Again, Jamie Bentley, co-chair, Project Vision Health Committee meeting. I know, Rebecca's like, who are you again? We meet every other month. Our next meeting will be, I think, April. No, it is April, May. It's been a day. It's been a day. It's Thursday, it's been a week. Anyways, it's too hot to remember anything. Okay, here we go. The Health Committee has been meeting every other month. We meet on the third Tuesday at 11 to 12. If you are interested in attending, please let me know. We'd love to have new members. We, at our last meeting, really spent time talking about our last Project Vision meeting, where we really drilled into how we as community members can start addressing some of the major issues that we are seeing in our community. And most specifically right now, we were focused on the substance use crisis that our community is dealing with. So we had some really fantastic conversation and ideas of specific action steps that our agencies who are involved with the Health Committee could take, and different connections that they could make to help each other. So that is just an example of what the Health Committee works on when we meet. We really try to do things that are informative, that are helpful, and create connections within our community through different health organizations. So that's the big update that I have at the moment. Any questions about Health Committee? Chatty room. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'll hand it back.
I believe we have an additional report out from Commander Prouty.
So I also chair the Community Policing Subcommittee. But before I get into that, I just want to say, like, this presentation, remember we have the 4 sort of pillars that we're trying to stay in, and the prevention piece, this task force is so important. So the trainings that are out there, the flyers that we share, the conversations that we're having about all things prevention, whether it's domestic sexual violence, whether it's alcohol and drug use, all of these things, if there's the word prevention in it, we're all in as a coalition. So thank you to the task force for presenting today. On the subcommittee for community policing, some things we've been talking about also in that vein is, I let the group know that we are really concerned from the police department's perspective of our partners that are suffering from compassion fatigue and potential burnout. It is in the police department's interest to support our partners that provide direct service, our nursing folks, our in-home care folks, folks that do case management with very difficult populations. So we did host one of two combating compassion fatigue trainings. Kia Ganguly was very generous with her time to provide that. Remarkable woman, fantastic training. The next one will be on the 20th. We're going to continue with that. I'm also in conversation with some folks for a motivational interviewing training that will provide both to the police department and to the Greater Vision Group, because I think that speaks a little bit to what Bianca was speaking about when it talks about that training. And when you talk to folks, I know the recovery coaches talk about this too, is that you can have conversation where you don't pry, where you don't lead the conversation, but you allow people to come up with their own decision-making and epiphanies and on their own. So stay tuned for that. There's OD2A money, which is grant money on the opioid funding from the feds, specific to that, so we'll have some money for that to train. Also on the training piece, we have decided that we are going to up our game on the overdose referral initiative. We had been to what was called a PERI conference in the past. It's the Police Assisted Addiction Recovery Initiative. It started with the Gloucester Angels Project out of Gloucester, Massachusetts. That is now a formal organization. We had been to the training, Sergeant Whitehead, now commander at the time, some folks from Rutland Mental Health and the drug court treatment team were there. We want to formalize that relationship. So we will be contacting PARI, trying to get some folks trained, maybe send a little coalition down to Massachusetts to be part of that, and really focus on that best practice on how do we interact with folks that are suffering out there from addiction and the best road back into long-term recovery with a harm reduction component involved. We've been hearing from, someone else mentioned the xylazine piece. We're getting word from the hospital as far as labs that are coming back, fatal overdoses that involve that. And there's a wound piece to the whole xylazine epidemic. So we want to get out in front of that. So that's the update from community policing. Am I missing anything, Pat? And Patty. Yeah, the dream team's right back here, folks, if you didn't know. So. Yes, they do, and if you are interested in being an employee there, I just put out something on the listserv. Opportunity knocks but once. We got to take these things, right? All right.
Thank you, Matt. So I will just add that the Department of Health is also looking at the xylazine issue, and I know there's been conversations about expanding or looking at other resources around that, especially around education and being able to do some intensive outreach for that as well. So appreciate that. All right. So the last thing we will close with, and I appreciate everybody's patience as I do my first round here and nobody threw anything, so I consider that a victory, is an uplifting or positive story to end the day. And I will call some folks out because I'm connected to some of these uplifting stories. So, yes, Sherry. Sorry, please wait for the mic.
So yesterday I was working with someone to help to get an ID. He came in and we're sitting there and he said, "Is your husband Matt Prouty?" And I said, "Yes," which usually leads to me shuddering, going, "Why?" And he said, "I met your husband a few months ago," and he was actually in the community resource job at that time. But I was under the bridge drinking a lot, and with a lot of different people that I shouldn't have been with. And he came under the bridge and looked at me and said, you should not be here. And he said, well, I have no way to get where I need to go. And he said, I'll give you a ride. And gave him a ride to his sisters. And now this man is actually into recovery and is in a sober house, and he's trying to move forward. And he just said that nobody ever cared that way. And I hate doing this because, everybody says, oh, Matt. But I have to give the position, the resource position, props, because to give that, be able to go out there in the community and help people that way and be personal, it just makes such a difference in our community.
Thank you. Anybody else before I start calling out, folks? So I want to end with one, and it's connected to, and as I kind of did my homework with regards to vision and kind of what I see in vision, and the base of vision is connections and relationships and consistency and developing a relationship. We've talked a lot about burnout, we've talked a lot about compassion fatigue, and this couple definitely has gone through several service providers. And within the last week, they're now going to be moving out of state, and I won't call out the person that's in the middle row who helped make it happen. But I will just say that they had burned just about every bridge, and it was somebody, and I want to say that also it was difficult for a lot of providers. And so I called and reached out to 2 or 3 different providers, and they were like, we've tried over and over and over again. And the thing that really touched me and that I think made the difference, and I think speaks to this work and effective collaboration, is somebody reaching out one more time and being that connection and being that person, maybe the right personality at the right time, maybe somebody that's going to engage in a way that somebody hasn't engaged them yet, or they're connected because they went to the same junior high school. You never know what it is, but it's that persistence and that willingness to develop that relationship that now we've got somebody who's moving out of state, who's going to be permanently housed, and I spoke to them 2 days ago, and they were elated. Like the emotion that they shared with regards to the person that worked with them and the connection that they developed, and they're talking about like wanting to share photos when they get to their destination. Like, it was so moving, and I think that's really what this work is about. It's about relationship building, I think, within our own agencies and within the community partners that do that, but also reaching out and supporting folks that need that help and that consistency and coming back again and again and again. So I just want to say how much I appreciate being a part of that, and I appreciate you all and your intention, and look forward to working with everybody moving forward. So thank you all.